All right, so the last lesson of this unit is dealing with soil acidity and nutrients. So soils, just like us, they need vitamins and nutrients. So vitamins for people are like fertilizer for the soil. They make up for what it might be lacking. So in Unit 3, you learn plants create carbs to fuel their growth. This turns carbon dioxide and water into sugars and starches, provides their primary food source, but plants also need nutrients from the soil. So a good way to test this is by testing the soil pH. So you probably know, water is tested for its pH, but soil is as well. So soil acidity levels vary, and knowing the level is important. So a pH of 6 to 7 is ideal. 7 is neutral, remember. So your soil should be neutral to slightly acidic. A pH above 7 is somewhat alkaline. Remember, that's base. So the lower the number, more acidic. The higher, more base. So like certain plants need more acidic soil, like blackberries. They need a little bit of a lower pH than other vegetables. And that's going to vary, and that's why it's important to be aware of these things. So you can get a soil pH kit at really anywhere, your garden center, your extension service, anything like that, and test the pH of your soil. There's 13 different mineral nutrients divided into macro and micronutrients. Macro, it means that they need them in large amounts. Micro means that they need them in small amounts. So the macro ones, which you should know, NPK. Remember that. Nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium. Nitrogen helps the plants grow quickly and increase seed and fruit production. So it also helps support photosynthesis. Phosphorus supports oils, sugars, and starches, which is also essential for photosynthesis. And potassium reduces diseases and improves fruit quality. So these are needed in the largest amounts because, and they're the most likely to be depleted quickly. So they're less likely to be replenished with simple soil management. So these are why fertilizers are heavy in NPK. So there is, says nitrogen is one of the most important plant nutrients. So you've got the water that comes down, nitrates are down here, nitrites all through, they get it through the bacteria, through different gases going on. And all of these make up the organic matter and the soil health. So the secondary ones, they still need these, but just a little bit smaller amounts are calcium, magnesium, and sulfur. Micronutrients, so these are trace elements. They need them in small quantities by the plants. So these are like boron, copper, iron, chloride, manganese, molybdenum, zinc. So even just adding like grass clippings or leaves, you could help replenish these nutrients. So some plants, you could put different plants into the soil to put different nutrients back. So that's why crop rotation is important. So that's technique designed to keep the soil rich. So that's where basically you're not planting the same crop every single year. You're not planting corn in the same field every year. You're going to rotate it. I might plant corn. The next year, I might plant soybeans. Okay, because soybeans and other legumes, they put nitrogen back in and corn takes it out. So if you just keep planting corn, you're going to lose all the nitrogen in your soil. Organic fertilizers, including both organic matter and commercially available, release nutrients into the soil slowly over time. So there's a time-release fertilizer that dissolves slowly over time. Many farmers and gardeners use synthetic, sometimes called NPK. That's why I've been saying that, fertilizers. So they're water-soluble that provide nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. They can be in a liquid concentrate. If applied too much, they could burn the plants, causing significant damage. But they do improve the soil over time in the way that organic matter and soil management do. So the product typically includes identified amounts. So the 555 NPK, that means there's 5 parts of each. So like 5 parts nitrogen, phosphorus, and then potassium. So it kind of shows you, like if you had a 100-pound bag and it says 555, that means there's 5 pounds of nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, and then 85 pounds of filler. So some advantages: synthetic fertilizers make nutrients available immediately. You don't have to wait on them to dissolve. It may be the only option in early spring. All right, then we have knowledge check. So after years of putting it off, Ren has finally begun to compost. What can Ren use as a sign that the compost is almost ready? Different parts show little variation. So whenever it's dark in color, it all looks kind of together. That means the compost is broken down and it's almost ready. 2, Rebecca is an agri-scientist making some recommendations to a friend for her garden. What type of organisms are good for the garden? What is the best answer she could give her? Which types are beneficial or harmful depends on your garden. Remember, so every soil is different. That's why you need to test your soil and know about your personal soil. Question 3, Jess is an agri-scientist working with farmers, a state that's a major corn producer. They want to reduce the farmers' use of synthetic fertilizers. What are they going to most likely recommend? So probably that they're going to rotate some of their crops with soybeans to put some nitrogen back in. So healthy plants rely on healthy soil. Importance of soil science to ag, horticulture, plant sciences. It's not overstated. It's super important. Every soil is different, and every soil is going to need certain things. That's why it's important to know your individual soil and have it tested.